I'm live. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Watch Your Mouth Reviews. This is your boy James, where I am here to give my honest review while trying to wash my mouth. It's not going to happen in this video, but that's okay. We'll live to fight another day. Joining me as always is my co-host, Mrs. Besh. I'll say what's up to her.
Happy Sunday. Like, share, subscribe, and anything positive, send in the direction of James.
Thank you so much. Yes, you guys, like, comment, subscribe, especially if you like what you see, like what you hear. Come on, subscribe to my channel. And while you're subscribing to me, please subscribe to Mrs. Best's channel, because any reviews or recaps I don't have on my channel, it's because we cover it on her channel. We have Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, Basketball Wives, The Valley, Real Housewives of Miami. Real Housewives of Miami. So yes, we have all those shows going on her channel that if you love them and enjoy them and want to know our opinions, you'll subscribe to her channel so you can get them every week. So I do have a little bit of a disclaimer. Before I do so, I also want you guys to go ahead and subscribe to Shana's channel. She has two channels, Shana_MCD and then Shana_MCD TV. Shana is another YouTuber who was probably one of the first to ever embrace me as a YouTuber and make sure that my name got across all of her platforms to help build up my status. And so we always pay homage to Shana because she definitely is become one of my real good friends. And we appreciate her through this entire journey. Her channel's trying to get remonetized. We want to make sure we get eyes on her channel. She does a lot of reviews as well. She also does panels. So you guys make sure you go ahead and show her some love by subscribing to her channel, and be sure to tell her James sent you. So here's my disclaimer, y'all. So unfortunately, you guys, I got injured at work and I had to have surgery, immediate surgery. So I will be gone from my channel. I don't know how long, but I will let you guys know when you guys see me randomly appear. But I will be gone from my channel for a little bit as I recover. So unfortunately, I won't be there. I won't be there for Mrs. Best's channel. So you guys definitely keep me uplifted in prayer. I will definitely try to be in the comments. I'll try to be here for Mrs. Best and anyone else that you watch that I may have some affiliation with. But I will not be on my channel after Monday. So let's go ahead and get into this Next Gen NYC Season 1, Episode 7. So the episode actually starts off with Georgia. Georgia is in the high roller penthouse suite over there at the Jersey. I don't know if they were in Magic City, or not Magic City, but Atlantic City. I don't know if that's where they were. I don't know where they were exactly. But she's in the high roller suite, and I'm looking at Georgia like, now I know you did not pay for this, because you do not give that you actually spend your money on this. This looks like the foot of your boyfriend. He's actually heading his way back to New York because he has to do some business. So he wasn't able to, stay there with her. But she calls Riley. A bitch day winning's here. Yes, this show's actually pretty good. So, Riley calls Georgia and say, "Hey, like, where are you at and everything?" And she's like, "Oh, I couldn't come back to the house. Omar wanted to get this penthouse, but she goes, I'm ready to hang out with you, but I'm gonna need some of my clothes because Georgia had left her clothes at the shore house that they all rented." So Riley's like, "Yeah, I'll get your bathing suit, whatever, and I'll come over there because everyone else is doing water Olympics sports and stuff like that." So she says she doesn't want to do this, so she hang out with Georgia. So basically, from that point on, we then have a scene where everyone's talking about how drunk Riley got and how she was, playing with Hudson's shirt, and they're all noticing that she gets crazy when she's drinking. And we'll touch more on this in a minute. But Mrs. Best, I had to ask, are you shocked that Riley has this kind of behavior, knowing who her mama is?
No.
No, you're not surprised. She's just living her best 21-year-old life.
She's 21. She's supposed to be drunk. I was very drunk at 21.
Me too.
So I don't like how Riley is gay. She seems to be judged more. They're super aware of everything that she does.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm tired of it. That's what I will say. She's supposed to be drunk. She's supposed to have fun. I don't see the problem.
I don't either. So while they're doing this and everyone's getting ready, Charlie goes and calls Ava and asks Ava, "Hey, are you still going to be making it down here?" And she was like, "No, I have a few events going on. I can't quite make it." So Charlie pins her location. and sees that she's still in Manhattan when she's supposed to be at the Hamptons. So Charlie immediately calls bullshit that Ava probably just didn't want to come. So I was like, one, that's scary that you can pin her location like that. And two, we all know Ava ain't really, here with the optics of this crew because she got wind of what it was like and she said, nope, I'm good. I ain't got to be here. So, Mrs. Best, were you surprised that Ava lied, or do you think she lied about the event in the Hamptons? That's where she was.
Ava don't want to deal with these people, and I don't blame her. And that's what I'll say. Honestly, Ava's boring. When she was on Growing Up Hip Hop, wasn't impressed. She's on this show, wasn't impressed. If I had to get rid of cast members on Next Gen NYC, I would get rid of Ava. I would get rid of Brooks. I would get rid of Gia. And I would get rid of the girl on the corner. I'm not sure if she's trans. I don't want to say that she is.
No, she is. They just did not publicly speak.
Yeah, I can never remember her name.
Amira.
And I apologize for that, but I will respect her gender identity. But yeah, she doesn't give enough.
She confuses me. And I'll get into that more. She confuses me because on one hand, I understand her, but at the same time, I think she's too sensitive about everything. And that to me does not. Huh?
I mean, you said it. She's too sensitive about everything. And a bitch stay with it. I agree with her comment. Ava's boring. They just don't give.
She's absolutely boring. I think her dad's name is what got her on the show. I really do. So we then show the scene where Riley goes over to see Georgia at the High Roller Suite. And Georgia has on this robe that follows her the entire episode. And Riley forgot to bring her clothes. So they over there and they book a cabana and they get, more alcohol. And they talk about Ariana taking the selfie with Charlie. And, Riley's confused by that because she said that she didn't understand why Ariana got mad at Georgia when, Georgia was pretty much saying that, she's had a situation with Charlie as well, where he was trying to make it hard for her. So she thought out of anybody, Ariana should have been the most relatable to her. And I don't know if I agree. Because here's my thing. I think Ariana was trying not to make the situation uncomfortable because it was Brooks's birthday. So I don't think she was doing it in a way where she totally forgot what Charlie had said and did. I just think she just didn't want to make it an uncomfortable situation. But I could be wrong. Mrs. Best, how do you feel about that?
How do I feel about?
Sorry, basically, when they were talking about, no, you're okay. They were talking about Ariana taking the selfie with Charlie and how Georgia said that based on how Ariana and Charlie's beginning had happened, she would have thought that Ariana would have had the same allegiance that Georgia has, which was her situation with Charlie. It got very violent and combative. So she was confused on why Ariana would want to take a selfie with Charlie. And Riley was backing up Georgia saying, yeah, we're all confused about that as well. So my question
I do think that's weird, though.
Mm-hmm.
You don't like this guy. You've made it clear you don't like him. You're still co-signing not liking him when other people are complaining to you about him. But then you're also willing to take a picture for him. But we have to remember this is Kim Zolciak's daughter.
True.
And when I say that, I'm not saying like all of the negative of Kim, like the gambling and the lack of responsibility. But Kim is willing to smile and take a picture with somebody if she got to or need a check. So maybe she was doing that. I don't know, but I also don't think it was a big enough deal to like freak out over. Like y'all complaining about Charlie.
That's where I'm at with it.
He's still in the friend group. Like if it was that deep, then people would like make it very clear we don't want him in the group. Let's agree to not film with him. Something like that would happen, but he's still here. So to me, it was stupid.
I agree. It was stupid because we're looking at it from the optic of like, yeah, he said something that was horrible to Georgia. And the things he said about Ariana weren't really, that bad. He just said that, I like her, and if she didn't have a boyfriend, I would, screw her. Just saying stupid things that boys say. So I didn't think, like I said, I didn't think it was that big of a deal, especially because you're at a birthday party, and she just probably didn't want to make it awkward because she was sitting right next to him. So I think that that's really what it was, and I think Georgia did kind of blow that out of proportion slightly. I do. I think she did. But that was pretty much their scene. We then move on to the other scene where the rest of the house is, for Brooks's birthday doing the water sports. It was kind of funny to watch and everything. And as they're, getting over there, Charlie is still texting Ava, trying to see if she's coming, then once again, playing her location and everything. And he says, I don't think Ava's going to make it. And everyone's all like, oh, well, shocker. So then he calls her on, I think did he call on FaceTime at this point? Or was it the dinner? I'm trying to remember when he called her. I think it may have been a dinner, so I'm going to skip that. I think he may have called her at the dinner. Because I'm trying to remember at what point. I know he called her to kind of blast her, but it was kind of, once again, it was Charlie. So as they're, done with the water sports or whatever, Riley comes over with Georgia, and Georgia is still in this robe. And everyone's like, why is she in a robe? Like, what the hell? And I'm trying to think of like that, like Georgia. You couldn't have bought you some clothes, and you couldn't have went to like Target or something and got you something to wear, or you can send Riley or somebody to find you some clothes. You just gonna come to the dock with this robe. So as they're walking, Riley drops her phone and it literally bounces and falls into the water. And Riley is throwing a tantrum, literally falling all on the ground. And I'm looking like, oh my God. Okay. So Riley yells out, I will give anybody $1,000 right now if they jump in this water and get my phone. That's all Charlie needed to hear. $1,000, I'll do it. I ain't gonna lie, I would too for $1,000. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm jumping in that water as well because that's a lot of money just to find a phone. Yeah, I'm gonna get to that point in a minute. But it was funny. So Charlie jumps in the water and he can't find the phone, and that water looked nasty as hell. I wouldn't have jumped in. I mean, I would have, but I wouldn't have went all like that. So Georgia's like, yeah, I'll jump in there too. But Georgia's like, but I don't have a top, and do y'all mind if I go topless? And I'm looking at Georgia like, there's something really wrong with Georgia, y'all. It's something really wrong with Georgia. Like, not that anyone else minds that you are going topless, but the fact that you're in public and there's children and there's all kind of people out there. Why would you think it would be okay for you to come and somebody get Georgia? So Charlie offers his shirt. She puts it on. She dives in the water. They couldn't find her phone. By that time, Riley has her second phone over there, and everyone was like, do you need to go to Verizon? And they're like, they see her holding on. She goes, no, I got my backup phone. It's just that phone had better reception. And everyone's all like, why do you have two phones? And it was like, why the fuck does it matter? Like, why do y'all care that she got two phones? Be glad she has two phones because she looks like somebody that would go crazy because she doesn't have a phone. So, Mrs. Best, I have to ask you, what did you feel about their responses to one, Georgia talking about, do y'all mind if I go topless? And then two, their response to Riley having two phones.
If the girl knew she had two phones, she should have been like, damn it. But at least I have my second phone. To make anybody jump in the water or to throw a fit knowing you have a second phone was stupid. I can't blame them for being annoyed. But they did also at the same time seem a little jealous and like, oh, you can offer $1,000 and you got two phones. Little do they understand, her mama worth a lot.
Right.
And it shows, but I don't know. The whole scene kind of annoyed me. I was like, okay, this is dumb.
It is dumb. So they then go back to the house. And once they go back to the house, I believe, what did you say, Miss? They went, come on now, we all know what it's like to lose our phones. She didn't make them do anything. That was $1,000 come up. Right. No, I totally get it. But she could have been like, y'all, don't worry about it. I got another phone here. I'll just go get another one when we get to this town to go shopping. She could have did that too.
Right, because even if they got the phone, it's done.
Yeah.
Your phone's waterproof, but it can't just sit in no salt water. So that phone was done. Even if she got it back, she wasn't going to be able to use it.
Exactly. Exactly. So when they get to the house, they have a private chef come over there. He's setting up everything on there. And then Georgia and Ariana take a moment to, kind of squash their little beef. And Georgia pretty much tells Ariana, she goes like, look, I was just really upset in the moment. I don't think realistically I should have done what I did. And Ariana's like, no, I understand where you're coming from because I would have, felt the way as well when it comes to the situation. When I thought about it, I thought, okay, Georgia does have a point. So they both kind of saw each one of their point of views of the situation, and they decided to go ahead and did it, which was good because that shit was stupid anyway. It's like, who cares? Like, that was really ridiculous. So they made up. It's dinner time, and I think this is where Charlie called Ava and said, hey, Ava, the whole everyone's here. And they were like, hey, girl, like, where you at? She goes, I'm sorry, I'm busy and everything, with this event, and I'm at the Hamptons. Meanwhile, Charlie pinned her location, and she was still in Manhattan. And he's not telling the crew where she's at, but he's pinning her. And it was kind of like, once again, you're coming off very stalkerish. Either Charlie and Ava are together and they're not telling the whole crew, or he's really like has some sort of obsession with her because it's really weird that you're tracking and pinning her location. Um, so as they're talking, we flash to Ava. She's setting up the dad, Damon Dash had bought one of I forgot that lady's name, the one who owns the Slutty Vegan, and she's been on a couple reality TV shows. But he bought that New York location, and he's having Ava, set it up, and she has like Slutty Vegan. She wants to turn into a nightclub. Damon said that he could put a stage up there, and I was like that little ass shack location, but okay. And then she's telling him, that she's missed Brooke's birthday and that she feels bad, but she came to New York to follow her career path and, could really care less about, social events getting in the way. And I kind of feel like, yeah, but on a TV show that's also giving you a check. So you don't think it would behoove you to make certain things or be at the locations to make sure you're getting your check from this show? Okay, Ava. I don't know how much she's getting paid to model. I don't know what her story is, but it just seems like she has a hard time realistically with time management and being at certain things that pays her as well. I could be wrong. Mrs. Best, how do you feel about Ava in that situation?
I want her off of the show.
You don't even care.
I want her gone. I don't like. Don't come on the show giving nothing, and then acting like you too sedity and busy to make it to events. If you don't want to be somewhere, then don't fucking go. You got other stuff to do. Have other stuff to do. I wish them the best in their venture with the Slutty Vegan, but I don't know. She works, and I feel like she understands that she's lucky and blessed because her dad came from nothing and probably taught her that. But I also feel like she kind of relies on her parents for lots that she probably shouldn't at this age. So I don't really care too much for Ava's scenes. I'd be bored as hell. And then I agree with what you said about her and Charlie. Something with them is off. They either dating or something because it's odd. It's weird that Damon Dash would even like Charlie so much, considering he don't do shit. So
I agree 100%. So then we move on to the rest of the family's dinners. Shy makes it, Shy tells them, look, I got a 9 to 5, because they ask Shy, why are you late? He said, look, I work. I'm not like y'all who has money and stuff. Y'all can just do this. I have to work. And I said, thank you, Shy. Thank you for being that person that let them know. And thank you for not perpetrating your situation and letting us know that you actually are, busy working at 9 to 5 and you ain't living off your parents. You ain't doing what the rest of these kids is doing. That you actually getting up and going to your 9 to 5 and punching that clock. Shy is my favorite so far. My favorite so far. Because he the real one. Because a lot of people come on TV and perpetrate, act like they got money and get themselves in all kind of personal loan and credit card debt, trying to keep up with the ones who have money. So I like Shy. I do. That's my boy. But Georgia gets everyone's attention because she said that she plans to open up a club, and the inspiration behind the club is going to be a bowling nightclub. And everyone's looking around like, what? Like, why would you? Who wants to have a bowling nightclub? And actually, I think it's genius. Actually, I think it is. Phoenix has one. It's a nightclub and a bowling alley, but they're on two different levels. So you can go downstairs with your crew of friends and do bowling, and then you can go upstairs to the nightclub part and start dancing. So I've actually seen that. So it's actually a really good idea. I just think directly they can't really see it until it comes to fruition. So Georgia said that she's actually going to have an event at a bowling alley so they can kind of get the image, but she wants to know everyone's opinion on it. And Amir takes this moment to say, you know, I think the idea is great, but you may not want to micromanage what your patrons eat as food. And I said, here we go. Because I get what she's saying. And Georgia was confused. She goes, what are you talking about?
It was not the right time.
It wasn't.
If you were mad about that, you should have said something when the comment was made. Don't spin the block days later and bring it up at a table in front of a bunch of people and ruin the mood. She can go.
Yes, she can. And Georgia was like, what are you talking about? And so she said, when I was taking my burger out of my Red Robin's bag, you were just saying, like, oh, why are you eating and all this? Like, you shouldn't be eating. And oh, the Ozempic had kicked in. And I said, Amira, that is not what she said. She literally was like, we just went grocery shopping, like, and basically the Ozempic comment came in. Georgia started laughing hysterically after she said it, so she probably was joking. But it wasn't a great joke. It was actually a poor tasting joke, if that's what she was doing. But I still feel like Mrs. said that wasn't the moment to bring that up. This lady is talking about business. So Georgia said, I can see how that could have offended you, and I'm so sorry for doing so. So Georgia immediately apologized. Amir couldn't do nothing but accept the apology, and Cheyenne's looking like, wait, what? Because Cheyenne's like us. Cheyenne work regular people who are regular 9 to 5. We kind of see shit like some shit just really ain't the time or the place. Cheyenne's like, that really just happened. And so Riley was like, can I tell you the truth, Georgia? Like, that idea is terrible. And everybody was like, whoa, Riley, that's not nice. That's, especially Gia over there. And she was like, oh, okay, like, I didn't mean to be mean. I'm just saying. And George was like, no, Riley, that's cool. Don't even worry about it. They were like, yeah, but you shouldn't have said that. So Riley gets upset and immediately walks from the table. And so Shy follows her. And he was like, well, what's wrong? She goes, I'm tired of them always trying to make me seem like I'm like this bully or something whenever someone brings something to me and I have my opinion. I feel like I can't have my opinion because what Gia's going to do is sit up there and try to berate me and say I'm being too harsh or I'm not giving someone a chance like she did with Charlie. And Shy was like, oh, okay, I kind of see where you're coming from. Right. So he was just saying, well, let's just go back because it is Brooke's birthday. That's why I'm here. So let's just go back. And, they were having like a cute little moment. It was funny. And like I said, I really like Shy. I think he's a good part of the show. And I hope whatever his endeavors are, they blow up because he deserves it. Like anybody that work hard, I'm all for them. And that's what I'm saying. Like she was talking about the cafeteria style Yeah, like that was crazy. So it was like, yeah, it is a terrible idea. The whole concept of it being a bowling alley club, that is actually cool. But the food optic, no, that was kind of like, Georgia, you missing me. It's like she gets there, like, yeah, I can see her vision, then she fucks it up some type of way. It's really crazy. But they go back in, they say happy birthday to Brooks and everything. And Riley got upset that she missed it and all that kind of stuff. So as the night progresses, Georgia, Shy, and Riley were at the kitchen island, and Shy was just bringing up, that everyone here pretty much has privilege, instead of, with their ideas. And Georgia's like, I don't have any privilege. I work. I have like $4,000 in my bank account right now. I'm not privileged. Like I work my ass off. Riley was saying, no, he's not saying that you have a privilege. He says for you to be 24 years old and have a millionaire boyfriend who's willing to invest into you, that's privilege. And she goes, and George's like, no, I don't see it that way. And Shy gets upset and walks away because he's like, I just can't believe it. Like they're all privileged. And so leaves Riley kind of, in the mode of still trying to defend Shy's comment, which was saying all of them are privileged, which they are. Like, I don't, and he's calling a spade a spade. I'm kind of mad that Shy left Riley alone because what it looked like to the other kids in the house is Riley was attacking Georgia and calling her privilege versus it being Shy saying, I don't have the same privilege you guys have, which I have to get up and I have to work every day and I have a regular job. That's what Shy was saying. So I kind of mad that Shy ran out. He did come back in, but by that time it was too late because they were all going back and forth talking about, Georgia defending her being privileged. And Georgia was like, when I think of privilege, I think of like, someone, parents giving them $1 million and things like that. I don't have that. And it's like, well, Georgia, you have a rich boyfriend. That's the same shit. He's still investing in you. Now, whether or not he get a return on the situation, we don't know, but he's still willing to put up that money because obviously it's enough for him to say, yeah, I believe in this lady who's on this TV show. She can definitely make it because she's going to put the business on the TV show, right? That's how I look at it. So my question to Mrs. Best is, do you think that Shy had a point about these kids being privileged? And do you think Georgia was being too sensitive?
He does have a point. A lot of people don't even have $4,000 to sit in their bank accounts. They're paycheck to paycheck. It may look like 400 instead of 4,000. So her making a comment like that shows she doesn't understand her privilege. Also, to anybody Caucasian out there or who lacks color, if you are in the United States of America and you white, I'm gonna just keep calling a spade a spade. You got privilege. You can still have your struggles, but you do have privilege over someone you're trying to argue down, such as Riley. And then as it relates to, what Georgia's done for herself, like, I get it. The success that she has, she had to work for, but she had less difficulty in attaining her success due to certain aspects of the privilege that she's afforded. And I feel like that's what Riley was trying to get her to see, but I wish at the same time that Riley would have, like, once your friend walk away, then you're done defending it. Because if you're not going to sit here and defend it and then everybody jump on Riley, then what the hell was the point in the first place? And Riley had to remind Georgia, like, I didn't say that. And then, and I do like about Georgia, though, that, like, she hears you even in an argument or a disagreement, it seems like. And she did hear Riley and kind of, like, let it go after that. So, yeah, I saw it from both sides. Georgia, we're not negating the fact that you have worked for everything that you have, but you didn't have to go through some extra struggles that someone different from you might have to. So there's certain levels to privilege. I think it's really just best that nobody bring up anybody else's privilege when you're in, like, social settings and stuff. And if you're so bothered by someone's privilege that you're hanging out with in your free time, then hang out with someone else, but this show started off good and I'm starting to, like, lose interest a little bit.
It is starting to lose. I think where we're losing interest is that these are so many different personalities that are not mixing with each other. So they're having a hard time to find their core foundation with each other because a lot of them have not been friends that long. So I think that there's a lot to be desired with this group. They need kind of a wrangler, like someone who knows them all equally and have them be the foot of the show. And I do agree. I don't think Ava needs to be here. I don't think Amira needs to be here. And I don't think Brooks needs to be here. I think they need to get rid of them. I think Shy needs to work out his work schedule so he can be here a little bit more because I do like him. I feel like Gia can go as well. I don't think she adds or anything.
She's gone. Yeah. She was fired from the show.
Yeah. I'm starting to come over to liking Georgia a little bit. I like Hudson. I like Ariana. Riley, of course. So I just feel like they need to get a whole new. And with Charlie, I feel like we need that wild card.
He's too old for this group. It's cringy that a 30-year-old man is hanging around a bunch of 21 and 23-year-olds. He needs to go hang around people in his own age range, or he needs to check himself into a facility and claim exhaustion so he can see a therapist every day. But he don't need to be with these young, gifted, determined people who all have a work ethic. All of them, no matter how I feel, have a work ethic, but him. I don't know why they would put him on here. I feel like because he dated Lindsay Lohan, they thought that made him relevant, but he dated her at a time that she wasn't making good decisions. So
right, exactly. Makes me question a lot. So, but that was pretty much the episode, y'all. That was pretty much it. There was not much that happened this episode. Lots of great conversation. As far as we talking about privilege, talking about, excuse me. But yeah, that was pretty much it. So we want to once again like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you, Mrs. Best, for being here. Once again, you guys, after tomorrow, I will not be back on my channel. Unfortunately, I am having immediate surgery due to a work injury. So I won't be back, you guys. But once I feel up and Adam to come back on my channel, I definitely will. So you guys, keep me in prayer, keep me uplifted. Hopefully I can come back as quick as I can. But thank you guys once again for being here. And I will see you guys tomorrow, which will be my last day on YouTube for a while. And we'll be here for Real Housewives of Atlanta and King's Court. Thank you, Mrs. Best, for being here. I appreciate you as well. And I'll see you guys next time.